good, concise asset data is the single most important part of creating the CAFAM platform. You know, if you get that right, everything else will be right and flow out from it. Compliance is a big one for our customers. Are they compliant? Do they understand their compliance? Again, the asset information, the asset data needs to be 100% accurate so that you can build a comprehensive compliance platform for them. My name is Keith Parker. I'm the founder, proprietor, managing director of IM+SS Ltd, an all-encompassing built environment consultancy business specialising in asset management, condition reporting, project management, flexible management solutions. What we use Asset Inspector for is very much around supporting our asset verification and condition reporting projects. And some of these are small projects, some of these are much bigger projects. We've been using Asset Inspector now probably for 7 or 8 years and have delivered some fairly substantial projects in that time. Prior to Mobiess, you know, it wouldn't be unusual to see me or some of my team crawling over a building with a clipboard, a digital camera, a pen, you know, maybe a mobile phone, gathering as much asset information as you could. Very mishmash way of doing it. You know, we would produce reports using that data, but you know, very clunky. If there's more than one surveyor, you could get a lot of discrepancy. The lack of standardisation in data meant we were spending more time straightening out the data than actually capturing it. So it kind of occurred to me at that time that there has to be a better way. There has to be a way of pulling all this together, you know, getting some cohesion between the survey teams. We, at that time, started to test the water and see what other products were out there. That's where we came across Mobiess. So we use Mobiess predominantly, the Asset Inspector product, for asset surveys, be they a large multi-building project or a single 10-floor building, whatever it might be. Why did we pick Mobiess? We found it to be very flexible. The support has always been good. We found it competitively priced. It gives us exactly what I want from what can be very diverse, different surveys. And you know, we end up with a capture tool that is bespoke to each project. And I don't believe there are many systems on the market at the moment that gives us that level of flexibility. With large teams of surveyors, it's really imperative that we're able to keep tabs on that productivity, and Mobiess gives us that ability to carry out the required productivity checks whilst the project is live and ongoing. We're able to spot trends in poor asset data and rectify them pretty much immediately. And if there are access issues, we can contact the client and go, look, we can't get in there for whatever reason, can you do that? And we can do that on a live basis. Nothing worse than reviewing asset data at the end of the day and finding that stuff is missing and you couldn't fix it straight away. We don't believe that any one client is the same. They're all different. You know, they all want different things in terms of asset capture, which means that their asset hierarchy is going to be different. There's never two identical asset hierarchies. You know, you don't want to be sending engineers all over buildings, you know, hunting for assets that aren't where they're supposed to be. All information within an asset register needs to be relevant. You know, the location hierarchy has to be accurate. The description of the asset needs to be absolutely on point with what you're supposed to be maintaining. Is it a split unit? Is it a fan coil unit? Because they're two very different types of maintenance. You know, we have that flexibility of working with your team to manipulate an existing hierarchy into something that is relevant to the client, which adds to the flexibility of the Mobiess product. I mean, poor data will lead to poor service delivery, always. When we look at an existing asset register, you'll see it in a basic spreadsheet format there, and there are gaps in it, you know, missing model number, missing serial number, whatever it might be. There'll be gaps in that data. We'll also see irrelevant data in there as well. The asset descriptors are not necessarily cohesive with what you're looking for, so it could be a split air conditioning system that has been listed as, but actually when you look at it, it's a chilled water fan coil unit. Two very different assets, but described as the same thing within the asset register. It's really key at the start of any new contract, new project, that asset data is looked at, cleansed, and is relevant to what you want to do. Your asset data is the foundations of everything else you're going to do. Think of it that way. You know, you dig a hole, you pour concrete in, you then put the brick walls up and you put the roof on. Your asset data is that foundation stone. Everything else will flow from that in a good way.